Hello, you are welcome to my class today. My name is Dr. Kingsley. Always subscribe, share, and like this video. In our class today, I'll be taking us on nomenclature of alkanes, how to name alkanes. There are rules that are required if we must name alkanes. The first rule is you identify the longest unbroken carbon chain. Identify the longest unbroken carbon chain. What I mean by that is if I have CH3, CH2, 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 okay, CH2, okay, the longest chain is this because this compound is what? Is a straight compound. But when we have CH3, CH, CH2, 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 and CH3, and here we have CH3. You agree with me that what? We need to identify the longest unbroken carbon chain. If I go through this, I have 1, 2, and 3. That is to say that the number on the straight line is what? 3. But when we go through the other way, we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and what? 6. So you agree with me that the main compound is what? Is this, because it has the longest unbroken carbon chain. So that is what? The parent what? Compound. So the first thing in naming an alkane is to identify the longest unbroken carbon chain. Now what is the next? Number 2. Rule 2 is that once you identify the longest unbroken carbon chain, then the next thing is what? You need to check to know whether there is a substituent. For example, when we have CH3, CH, then CH3, I have CH2 and CH3. Now, remember rule 1, you identify the longest unbroken chain, which is what? The straight chain in this case. Then the next is what? Check whether there is a substituent. Now you look at this. This is a substituent, which is what? Methyl. You need to do what? You need to check for it. Then number 3 rule is what? Is that after identifying that there is a substituent, you need to number the parent chain, which is the what? The longest unbroken carbon chain. Number them. But when you are numbering it, you need to number in such a way that that substituent take the least position possible. What I mean is this: I can number this compound as number 1, 2 carbon, the 3rd carbon, and the 4th carbon. It's also possible for me to number through this way: 1st carbon, 2nd carbon, 3rd carbon, and what? And 4th carbon. You see that numbering towards this way, we give this carbon position number 2. But if you number through this way, you are going to give this same carbon position number 3. So the one that will be accepted will be towards this way, because it gave the what? The substituent the least what? Possible number. Then number 4 is that after you must have numbered, you begin to name. Number 4 is name the compound. But while naming, you must start naming the so-called what? Substituent first. So substituents are named before the main compound. Now, while naming substituents, you need to indicate the position of the carbon atom that they are present. Now, we use what? The Arabic numerals to what? To identify the position. Now, if we want to name this compound, we number this way because this gave the substituent the least carbon, which is what? Number 2. So if we want to name, we start with the what? Arabic numeral. Where is this methyl group, which is a substituent? Where is it attached? It is attached at carbon number what? 2. So you put what? 2 to show the position. Then the next thing, you now name the what? The substituent, which is 2-methyl. Now, having named the substituent, you now name the parent compound. The parent compound, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, the longest carbon, it comes from the name butane. So the name of this compound is what? 2-methyl butane. The same thing if we have CH3, CH2, 2, you have the CHBr, then you have what? CH3. Now you identify the longest what? Unbroken carbon chain. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. Then number 2, identify whether there is what? A substituent. Yes, there is a substituent which is what? Bromine, that is bromo. Then after that, identifying that there is a substituent, you need to number the parent compound. But the numbering is in such a way that you must give this substituent the least possible number. If I go through this way, this is 1, 2, 3. But if I go this way, this is 1, 2. So the substituent will be at number 2 here, which is the least possible number. So our numbering should be 1, 2, 3, and what? And 4. Then let me what? Let me name the compound. If you want to name the compound, you start with the number from where the substituent is placed, which is 2. So this will become 2. Then you name the word, the substituent, which is what? Bromo. So this is 2 bromo, showing that the substituent, which is bromo, is placed at number 2. Then you now name the what? The main compound, which is 1, 2, 3, and what? And 4. So this is 2 bromo butane. 2 bromo butane. Please always notice that what? Numbers are what? And letters are always separated by a hyphen. So that is number 3. Then number 4 rule that you must understand when you are naming an alkane, that is number 4, is that if we have 2 of the same substituent or 2 or more of the same substituent that is present, you must use what? The suffix di, tri, tetra, and so on to indicate the number that they are. Let me say, for example, we have CH3, CH, you have CH3, then you have CH, you have CH3, then you have CH2, CH3. Now look at this compound. The first thing we have to do is what? To identify the longest what? The longest chain, which is the parent compound. The longest carbon here is this, unbroken. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then having done that, you go to number 2nd rule to identify whether there is a substituent. Yes, there is a substituent which is metal here and another metal here. Then the 3rd rule is what? You need to number the longest carbon chain. But let substituent take the least possible number. So if I number from here 1, 2, the substituent will be at number 2. But if I number from here 1, 2, and 3, the substituent will be at number 3. So let us number from here, since he gave us the what? The least number for the substituent. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and what? And 5. Now, if we want to name, we name substituents first. Now, but we must indicate the position of the substituent. So the first metal is at carbon number 2. The second metal is at carbon number 3. Put comma to separate numbers. Carbon number 3. So this is one of the metal is at number 2. The second metal is at number 3. Okay. You put your hyphen to separate numbers from letters. Now, how many metal do we have? It is 3. I mean 2 metal. We have 2 metal. So it will have to go with the name dimethyl. Dimethyl. That they are what? 2 methyl. That is dimethyl. 2 methyl placed at number 2 and number 3. Now, after having named the word, the substituents, then the next thing is to name the main compound, which is the parent compound with the longest unbroken carbon chain, and that is 5 carbons. That is a pentane. So the compound is what? 2,3-dimethyl pentane. Now, having known this, we need to go to the what? To the next rule. The next rule. So the next rule, okay? The next rule states that what? That if we have 2 or more different substituents, 2 or more different substituents, while naming, you need to name them alphabetically. Now, we have CH3, we have CH, BR, we have CH, okay, CH3, okay, then we have CH2, we have what? CH3. Now, how do we name? We have 2 substituents. we identify the longest carbon chain, which is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, and what? And 5. Having identified that, the next thing is we identify whether there is a substituent. Yes, there are two substituents. The next thing is to what? To number the what? The parent what? Carbon chain. Now, if we want to number the parent carbon chain, what we'll do is what? We must make sure that the substituents take the least possible number. If I come from here 1, 2, if I come from here is what? At number 3. So I take 1, 2, okay, 3, 4, and what? And 5. Now, what is the substituent here? The substituent here is what? Bromo. Why the substituent here is what? Methyl. Is methyl. So alphabetically, B and M, which one comes first? You see that B comes first. So you name the substituent bromo first before methyl. So the name of the compound is what? 2-bromo, because bromo is at number 2. Then you have what? 3-methyl. Methyl. Then the main compound is 5 carbon atom, which is what? Which is pentane. So the compound is what? 2-methyl pentane. Now, assuming we have another example, let's say we have CH3, okay, CH3, then we have CH2, okay, CH2, then we have C, okay, CH3, then we have CHBr, then we have CH3. What will be the name of the compound? I hope you can see down here. Okay, so what will be the name of the compound? Now identify the longest carbon chain, which is this way, towards this way. Having known that, you need to number, but the substituent should take the least number. If you go through this way, before you see a substituent, it will be at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But when you go through this way, 1, 2, you have seen the substituent. Okay, let me interchange. Let's say here is a bromo, and here is what? Methyl. For example, if I number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and what? 7. So the parent compound is 7, which is heptane. Now let us name the substituent first. Which substituent do I name first? Do I name methyl first because I met methyl at number 2 first? No, I have to name alphabetically. Now bromo, that is B, is less in our alphabet than what? Than methyl, which is M. So I have to name bromo first. So this compound is what? 3-bromo, okay. Then I have what? 2-methyl, okay. Then the parent compound, which is what? Which is heptane. So that is the name of the compound. Now, having taken that, we go to the next rule of naming. Now, the next rule is that if you have the same substituent from what? Or if you have different substituents from the same position from either end of the carbon. Let me say we have CH3, you have CH3, then you have CH2, you have CHBr, then you have CH3. Now, you see that when you number from here, first substituent is at number 2. When you number from here, first substituent is also at number what? At number 2. So from either side of the what? Of the counting, or from either end of the carbons, substituent is at the same position, which is number 2. What do you do in this case? What you do is what? You number from the side that have what? The least alphabet. Now this is B, bromo, M for methyl. So B comes before M. So you number this way: 1, 2, 3, 4, and what? 5. So that becomes 2-bromo. You have what? 4-methyl. 4-methyl pentane. Because it's 5 carbon atom, that is what? That is pentane. Now, having gotten this rule, let us go to a case, another rule. We want to go to another rule in which there is a substituent. And that substituent is also having its own substituent. Let me say, for example, you have CH3, you have C, you have CH3, you have CH, you have CH3, then you have CH3, then you have CH2, you have CH2, you have CH2, you have CH2, you have CH3. Now, what is the longest unbroken carbon? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, let me add more here. 2, you have CH2, you have CH2, and you have CH3. How many do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So the longest unbroken carbon chain is actually what? Is actually 10. Now, having that, which is 10, you can now see that this is a substituent. This is a substituent. This substituent here have its own substituent. When a substituent have its own substituent, that substituent will be numbered. So we need to number this substituent because it have its own substituent. So this is number 1, 2. This is number what? 3. So having that, how do you name it? At what position is this substituent? 1 and what? 2. Okay? The substituent is at number 2. So it has to be 2. Use a bracket because the substituent is having its own substituent. So it becomes 2 methyl. Because upon this substituent, the other substituent is at number 2 also. So it's 2 methyl. What is the substituent? Propyl. Propyl. Then you name the major compound. The major compound is what? Is decane. So that is what? 2,2-methyl propyl decane. So I believe that we have learned some tips in naming alkanes. So please do subscribe to my video and also follow me up. Okay? Like and share. Thank you very much.